All right. ESPN just lying through their teeth about Vasily Lomachenko and Tyson Fury, say almost nothing about Terrence Crawford during that fight, during their telecast this weekend. Absolutely ridiculous behavior. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also, I want to say special thank you to the people in the two communities that really help this channel out. My Patreon community, as well as the live stream community. The people in the live stream that come on Monday through Fridays right around 11:15 a.m. Central 11:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, and OG Boxing Talk, our week-ending program at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday with KQKC Boxing, Curtis Anderson, and my co-host Blood Boxing. Let's talk about ESPN, man. There was a really good fight on this weekend. Arthur Beterbiev and Alexander Wojcik. Now, please note that I said Beterbiev and Beterbiev because I've heard it pronounced both ways. Also, Wojcik, I've heard it pronounced that way. I've heard it pronounced other ways. But I'm not Ukrainian. I'm not Russian. So consequently, no matter what I do trying to pronounce those guys' names, somebody is not going to be happy. Get over it. You know who I'm talking about. Now, excellent fight. Loved seeing it. It was two Eastern European fighters fighting one another. There is one less Eastern European champ in the light heavyweight division because they actually fought each other. And that is something that I have been calling for and other people have been calling for a while. It seemed for a while that Eastern European fighters would not fight each other. And when they're not fighting each other, they're not knocking each other off. So consequently, you have more of those champions. And it seemed as if that was kind of something that they were, I don't know if it was consciously that they were doing or purposely that was happening. But you know, when those guys fight each other, somebody is going to prove who the best of them are. So we got to see that. And I was wrong about my prediction of the fight. I thought that Alexander was going to win that fight, but Arthur Beterbiev won the fight. So, hey, man, scratch that up to me being wrong. And Beterbiev showed that he is an absolute beast, okay? Tough fighter, strong fighter, very skilled fighter. Really looking forward to seeing him fight the winner, either fight Bivol or fight the winner between Canelo Alvarez and Kovalev, if that winner is Kovalev, because you know dang well that Canelo Alvarez is not fighting Arthur Beterbiev. He might fight Bivol, but he ain't fighting Beterbiev, and I'm very interested to see whether or not Bivol is going to wind up on his back against this dude. This guy can fight, man, and he's not that, and he's a professional style fighter. It is not this amateur tap, change angle, tap, change angle type of stuff. So that was an excellent fight. What I'm talking about in this video, though, for me, in a way overshadowed the fight. I love the fight, top fight, best fight I've seen on ESPN this year. Two fighters where I did not know the outcome of the fight before the fight went in. And for sure, I didn't know it. So that in and of itself is exceptional. Right? But then there's the ESPN crew, their producers, the things that they said during this telecast, and what I perceive to be what they're trying to do to the sport of boxing. And I think that it is reprehensible. Understand that I am definitely a hardcore, avid boxing fan. I'm a boxing nerd of the 10th degree boxing nerd. Okay, so when I hear the producer selling a story that is not true, it irritates me. And I think to myself, that's not an accident. You have BoxRec. You know that's not an accident. You have people that know the sport of boxing around you that you can ask questions to. I know you have editors. I know you have people that are double and triple checking the facts that you put out there. And you would have to purposely do some of the things that they're doing that is just wrong. Three things really stood out to me. Okay, now ESPN is known for fake records. Or irrelevant statistics, okay? Known for it. They do it in boxing, they do it in football, right? They'll give you some statistic and say, LeBron James scored more points in the second minute of the third quarter of a semi-conference playoff game by a below 6'8" player who is right-handed and who has an L in his first name. Right? Is that a record? Yes, that's a record, I guess. Does it mean anything? Absolutely no. Okay, so ESPN is well known for that, right? Well known for that. But what they did with Vasily Lomachenko's record is not a mistake. That is misleading. They put up, when they show a picture, they pan past Vasily Lomachenko and they say, Vasily Lomachenko, they name the belts that he has: the WBC, the IBF, the WBA lightweight champion, 14-0. 14-0. He's an undefeated world champion. No, he is not. And this is not the first time that they did this. They did the same thing when they panned Vasily Lomachenko sometime last year. I just didn't recall it. And I was like, they made a mistake. They put on this thing that he's undefeated. He's not. If you cannot get with all the fact checking and all the analysts that you have out there, they can dig up these arcane irrelevant facts. You can't get the guy's record straight. Everybody that knows anything about the sport of boxing know that Vasily Lomachenko lost to Orlando Salido. But they push it nonetheless. The second thing that they do is they are now talking about the lineal championship and putting the lineal heavyweight championship ahead of the sanctioning bodies. This guy, Alexander Wojcik, is the lineal heavyweight champion of the world. What does that mean? Now, unlike Tyson Fury, who they say is the lineal heavyweight champion, and I went back and looked at the time to see if I could chase a line to the last unified, undisputed heavyweight champion and lineal champion, which is Lennox Lewis, right? Tyson Fury isn't the lineal. I didn't go through this Wojcik thing. The reason that I'm pointing it out is that now these guys, that they are literally trying to trump the championship belts of the sanctioning bodies by their own. They say Tyson Fury sits atop the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury sits atop the heavyweight division. This guy has not, and I say this over and over and over again, this guy has not beaten a top 10. He's not beaten a top heavyweight in 4 years. Let me repeat that. The guy that they say sits atop the heavyweight division has not beaten a top heavyweight since 2015. But yet he sits atop the heavyweight division. It's not Andy Ruiz, who's got 3 of the major championship belts, who beat Anthony Joshua, who was recognized as the #1 heavyweight in the world, right? It's not Deontay Wilder, who was a champion before Tyson Fury was a champion, remains a champion to this day with 40 KO, with 40 knockouts, over 40 knockouts. It's not him. Then they do another statistic with Arthur Beterbiev and talk about his knockout percentage and how, in the light heavyweight championship, right? He says this is the first time that there's been a undefeated fighters fighting to unify the 175-pound division. First of all, there's only been 2 belts in the 175-pound division since the 1960s. The rest of boxing, there was only 1 champion. Since 1980, there became 4. Of the belts that were being held last night during that fight, the IBF wasn't around. The WBC was around, but that belt, the second of those belts, didn't even exist. So what are you talking about? And Undefeated, these guys got 22 fights between each other. And what does it matter? Because there's 2 other champions that are there. They just play with these numbers in order to make it seem as if what they're doing on their channel, on their particular channel and their broadcast, mean more than they actually mean. But to flat out lie about Vasily Lomachenko's record, just to lie about Vasily Lomachenko's record is just way over the top, man. ESPN, I tweeted it. I was like, man, I think I owe Jim Lampley an apology, man. Please bring that dude back because they wouldn't lie that blatantly. They wouldn't lie that blatantly. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section about ESPN and their stats manufacturing organization. And with that, I'm out. Peace.